Right, so, yeah, it's a bit dark in this room, but anyway, this is Fun Facts of Liam, episode 8, The Revenant. John Fitzgerald didn't die, take 2, as you will, as it were, whatever, because somehow on this camera of mine, I went past the recording limit. Christ knows how and why. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, several things. Fitzgerald was actually very close in age to Jim Bridger. Will Poulter, the versatile Will Poulter in The Revenant, and actually Tom Hardy actually played all of him really, really well. Two of those kind of people that make you proud to be from my neck of the woods, because they're really versatile. They can just switch back and forth between, whatever. I'll stop rambling about them. But Fitzgerald was only about 23, as opposed to 35, 40-year-old Tom Hardy movie version, because probably they wanted to avoid the whole 40-year-old Hugh Glass, Leonardo DiCaprio murdering, in comparison, a lad to him, which is also why in real life he partly why he spared Jim Bridger, and Jim Bridger's the actual one. If any of you out there have watched the film yet, I have loads of times. One of my favourite films, one of the best action films of all time, especially at just the atmosphere and So Bridger's the one out of them who actually had children and descendants with Indians, as Fitzgerald said in the would say in the and I did say in the Revenant, and with him there was no Texas Rangers stuff either. I mean, there's that bit where in the cave where him and Bridger take shelter, and he's talking about his dad being a Texas Ranger. Well, let's say that Fitzgerald. This is 1823 ish, and Fitzgerald's about pushing 40. So, let's say that Fitzgerald was, I don't know. Let's just round it up. Say he was 10 years old. So say he was 40. Yeah, this would have been somewhere in the 1790s. No such thing as Texas Rangers then. Texas then was then part of Mexico and still kind of was in the 1820s. But I think they may have been on the way to setting up, like a American military thing, which would have been the Texas Rangers around the time that Fitzgerald went to enlist. And in fact, in real life, he successfully enlisted by the time that Glass actually caught up with Fitzgerald. He'd already enlisted as a soldier, so he had no choice but to let him go or be executed for treason. What else is there about Fitzgerald? Not much else, really. I did sort of want to somehow use a picture of John Fitzgerald, but I think there's only maybe a little record of him that's somewhere after 200 years, and he probably looked quite boyish, but gruff at the same time, with the beard and stuff like that. And but there are pictures of Jim Bridger, and Bridger's probably the most famous out of Glass and Fitzgerald, because even as some kind of border thing with Montana, Missouri, whatever. I'm a bit foggy. Called Bridges Pass. So it was what's that wild man called? Davy Crockett. He was somewhat like a Davy Crockett type. Crockett being the earliest out of the three blokes I mentioned. Yeah, I think he's probably around early 1800s. Are you talking when Napoleon was still trying to wage war and also make deals with like Thomas Jefferson and the Russians and stuff like that over certain bits of America. And the French. Well, he was the French. What am I talking about? But anyway, yeah, Fitzgerald was never killed in combat with Hugh Glass. Yeah. So Bridger was spared because Glass, like in the film, saw that Fitzgerald press ganged him into just leaving who they thought might as well be a dead man behind. So yeah, so he let him go. He said it like it was to him he was a young lad who was essentially sort of bullied into going along with Fitzgerald. Probably acted like a bit of a brother type, but it was probably more amount to peer pressure other than you better do what I say, boy, kind of thing in the film, because he was considerably older. Yeah. So neither of them died. Well, neither of them were killed by Hugh Glass. And whether Glass had children at all is debatable too, but who knows. Anyway, I'm going to end it there before I run out of time. So this is History Boy signing off. Peace.